Ho 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 my G's, it's Artifact and it's another tutorial. Today I've got a wicked vital bass, which is a heavy Neuro bass designed for my Patreon, Hevy or Hevy. So thanks to you for being an awesome supporter, and I've just tried to make a really nice Neurofunk bass for you. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. And also, I've just released a 45-minute long tutorial breaking down my latest track, Divided. The original track you can listen to here. And yeah, if you like the tune and you want to support me a little bit, you can head over to Patreon, watch the tutorial on my track project, how I do my post-processing and all that good stuff. And if you're on my Fire Team tier, which is like the higher one up, you can also get the stems for the track to play around with, make a remix for yourself, or yeah, whatever. But the most important thing is that you support your boy if you like the videos. So anyway, let's get into the patch today and have a little listen to the loop, and then you can decide what you're going to get me under the tree this year. So I really like this bass, and I tried to make something that I thought Hevy would like. And so it's the Hevy Neuro bass, and it's actually, it doesn't have too much high end, it's got just enough. But what I've kind of decided to do is to leave it with a kind of lacking a bit of high end and bring some of that out in the post-processing. So I've got a bit of a crush on, these are both free plugins, which I love both of them. I've got a bit of crush to drive up the saturation, and that like kind of increases the high end a little bit. And then I've got a bit of fresh air, which also just brings that top end out a little bit more. Because in the patch, I have everything running through this. I have everything running through this low pass filter here. Eli, you boy. Yes. Sorry, I watched There Will Be Blood the other day, and I just love doing Daniel Day-Lewis impressions. What do you think? Do you think I'll do a good one? He says, I need you to say that you are a false prophet and God is a superstition. Yeah, anyway, enough of that. I digress. Everything's running through this low pass filter, and without it, you could just take it off and use the texture. By the way, this is also on Patreon, another reason to join. That's a really great texture, but I wanted this low pass sound, and it only kind of worked for me when everything was running through it. And even if I turn the mix back a bit, it just like, it loses the dynamic movement I wanted unless it was on 100%. And so the only way I could sort of do that and keep that in was to then, you know, try to bring out the high end quite a lot after the filtering. And that's why I've had to go to some post-processing to try and get that high end back out again. Yeah, so Compressor though, it's a really nice sort of tone even without it. If you were struggling for like track progression ideas, like I could create a first kind of drop or something with that kind of heavy part, and then go into like my second 16 and like drop that compressor off, and then have like a more like chilled, like have a bit more of a chilled section without all that high crunchy end in there. But yeah, the compressor really adds that in, and the distortion kind of really gives that, yeah, like that character of everything together. And the linear fold mode here, I never know which distortion is going to work best, but if you go back to the original patch, and if I just turn everything off quickly, you know, you can hear what I've done is that's also really nice like that when you take off this effect here. But I started by typing in, if you can quite hear it now, but it says heavy, it says Hevy in the text to speech, and then that's modulated by a saw wave here, and that saw wave has a bit of modulation from the sub sine wave here, which has some white noise going into it, ring modulated here, so they kind of go up and up and up in the kind of order. And yeah, because it was quite, it wasn't like a super distorted bass to begin with all of this, like it was quite clean. So that's why I wanted to go for a heavier kind of distortion, like rather than the soft clipping or hard clipping, which is like normally just a bit of saturation and just like turns it up a bit but doesn't really change the character too much. The distortion with the like linear fold like really introduces like this kind of growl into it that's like makes it very different, and it kind of only works best when the original sound is kind of fairly clean already and not like already really distorted with loads of high end, because otherwise you're just like distorting high end with like more high end distortion and it all becomes a bit too much. Yeah, so anyway, compressor goes first, then distortion. The chorus really helps like give it this natural kind of warmth, and then I've got a bit of extra mid-range filtering going on here, and then a little bit of EQ to bring out some of that high end. Yeah, and that's pretty much the patch, and it's all kind of I mean, the modulation, the Hevy is just going up on this nice slow LFO, and yeah, everything else runs through this LFO2 here, which we could obviously modulate as well, but this kind of slotted in the groove best. I mean, that would also be pretty cool, to be fair. But yeah, I like this one. Another thing I could do is maybe, if I liked that faster version, I could have just copy over the patch here, and on this one, we'll just turn it up to like quarter notes. Did that even work? I don't think that even did it? Aha, it was the wrong LFO. So yeah, it's getting in some really nice funky Neuro territory there. But yeah, if I can explain anything more about it, yeah, we've got and there's a bit more modulation happening on filter 2. So this filter does all the first kind of low pass, and then it runs into filter 2. So you make sure you just select filter 1 only and not all of the other ones, otherwise it's going to run into both of them, and then you're going to have all the high end coming in through this one as well. So I only want it to come in from filter 1, and that's just a little bit of a mid-range kind of filter. You can see just a little bit of movement there just to keep it a bit more expressive. And yeah, I probably didn't explain this in like the best order of how I created it, but yeah, it's a cool sound, and I hope you like my hat, basically. Yeah, have a lovely end to your week, and yeah, make sure you check out the links down below for my Patreon if you want to check out the divided breakdown and get the stems and all that good stuff. And yeah, have a wicked day. Peace.